ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहैतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 29, verse number 34. So these verses are spoken by the gopis, called as Pranay Geet or Song of Love. And in the last verse we read where they said that please be pleased with us. Tanna prasida parameshwar masmachindya asham bhritam tai chirad arvinda netra. So we read a nice explanation of the sloka by Sri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. There are two words which they used here. Kurvanti hi tvairati kushla sva atman. One is atma, other is Parameshwara. So first they are calling him as Parameshwara, and that we saw the commentary, we said that it is the Hantaspad and Mamtaspad of the gopis, which means that the identity of the gopis is in relationship with Krishna and not independently. And it is only because of that identity that they function. So that is the meaning. And this is what is the very heart of bhakti. Because bhakti is described by Rupa Goswami as Anukulyena Krishna Nusilnam. And Anukulya you do to yourself naturally. Because when you are told to do Anukulya, then you may do, you may not do. Sometimes you like, sometimes you don't like. Even if you do it, your mind may be elsewhere because your heart is not into it. But we like to do Anukulya to ourselves naturally. No, there is no training required for that. Generally we speak about the four Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Which is the most natural Purushartha? Kama. Others are imposition. The most natural Purushartha for every person is Kama. Doesn't need any training, no schooling, no lecturing, right? Even the child knows it. Grown up knows, old person knows. No matter what is your religion, creed, birthplace, this, that, everybody wants Kama. Right? Dharma you have to be trained. Moksha people don't know. And Artha comes because of Kama. If you are interested in Kama, then you somehow manage to get some Artha. You really are not into it. That's why when this time for going home, you are happy. When it's weekend, you are happy. So Kama is the natural thing. And these gopis are Kamanugas, or rather Kamatmikas. So that is natural. So this is the goal, and therefore this is the essence of Bhāgavatam. And for practical application, what is the practical application? How we apply it? So very interesting statement. Bhayam dvitiya vinivestasad ishadapetasya viparya smriti tanmayate buddho abhajettam bhaktya ekya Guru Devata Atma. So Guru, two words are used. One is Devata, other is Atma, which is also used here as Atma and Parameshwar. Parameshwar is Devata. Means the Guru is your Devata and Guru is your Atma. Which means that your identity should be in relationship with that. That's why after Diksha you got a new identity. It's called new birth. So new birth gets new identity. When you are born, you got a new identity. You forgot your previous identity, what you were in the past life. So this is the meaning of Dvija, second birth. So if we can understand that, Guru Devata Atma, then problem is solved, Maya is gone. So that is the Uttama Bhakti. That is the secret. So that's why it is important. Why we say Parampara with Guru, this, that. That is the reason. So now, the next sloka. Any question before we start on that? Yeah. Okay. Sachittam sukhena bhavata pritam griheshu yannirvishatyuta karavapi grihya kritye Padau padam na chalatastav padamooladhyama katham brajamatho karvam kimva. So they are saying that bhavata sukhena chittam aprahitam, that you have happily stolen our heart. So bhavata aprahitam, sukhena means very easily, just by playing flute, not much endeavor. Or sukhena goes along with bhavata, you who are sukha, sukh swarupa. Because where does chitta go? Where does heart go? Wherever you get pleasure. Right? That's the meaning of kama. Whatever is pleasing to you, that's where your mind runs. So bhavata sukhena, because Krishna is sukh swarupa, he is the personification of happiness, personification of bliss. That's why he is called Krishna. So therefore, you have stolen our chitta. And now we cannot engage our hands in our household duties. Karavapi griha kritya. So here uta and api both are coming. Yesterday you were saying somewhere uta and api come. Yesterday it came in the Karak Prakarana. So it is badham artha, right? Certainty. So yan nirvishati uta karavapi grahiya kritya. Because wherever is the chitta, that's where the senses are. If your mind is elsewhere, you cannot function here. So it says, because you have stolen our hearts, so now we cannot perform our duties. So if he says, why don't you go back? So he says, how will we go back? Padau padam na chaltastava padamulad. This is the most attractive sloka when I read it. Padau padam na chaltastava padamulad. That our feet do not move even a foot or even a step from your feet. 3 times. Padau padam na chaltastava padamulad. Because if your chitta is here, then where will you go? You want to be where your heart is, right? So if your heart is here, then your feet are not going to move elsewhere. Your feet move where your heart goes. You want to go wherever your heart is. So if your heart is with Krishna, how can they go home? So yame katham, and even if, so therefore how can we go to Vraja? Because to go you need your feet, and feet don't move from here. They are fixed. And if we go there, what will we do? So this is a very interesting sloka, because you cannot function where your heart is not there. Now you may do your job in office or wherever, although your heart is not there, but because your heart is also not anywhere 100%. But if your heart goes completely 100% somewhere, then you become dysfunctional, right? Sometimes some people's mind becomes fixed on some person, they become dysfunctional, cannot function. So gopis are 100% because their very identity is with Krishna. You function according to your identity. Whenever you do something, you do on the basis of your identity. If you join some office, first you are given a post, position, some designation, then comes your function. If you don't have any designation, what function will you perform? So function is secondary to your identity. Identity is the first thing. We function in our society also according to our identity. If you have friendship, if you have relations, that is all your identity. Once your identity is, you don't identify with some person, then you don't deal with that person. You give up that person. You have no more friends with that person. So this was the problem with Arjuna in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Because all his identity was at risk. Because sum total of your identity or our identity at present is in relationship with our people. Whoever they may be, your friends or relatives, parents, brother, sister, guru, or whoever is that, that's your identity. So he thought that now if all these people are dead, my identity is gone. I will be in identity crisis, which is also a problem at present in the society. Identity crisis means they are not very clear what is their identity. Arjuna was very clear, because to have identity crisis, first you have to have identity. Now the identity crisis is that people do not have identity. Arjuna's identity crisis is different. People's identity crisis at present is that they are not clear what is their identity. This is their crisis. And that's why they don't know what to do. They keep on hopping from one place to another place, from one job to another job.
LGBTQ+.
Whatever. So this is a very big problem present. You cannot function without identity, and stronger is your identity, more fixed you become. So that is the meaning of becoming fixed in bhakti. Means now your identity is fixed, you are clear. So therefore they are saying, where will we go? Because their identity, they are identifying with Krishna. That's what we read. That their ahamtaspad and mamtaspad, their I-ness and my-ness is with Krishna. So how can they go and do something which is not related to Krishna? And even if they go there, what would they do? Their mind will be empty. And then the senses cannot function if the mind is empty. So in yoga they try to make their mind empty.
Impossible.
Then if you make it, then what will you do? So that's, therefore it says, Padav padam na chalatas tav padamulat. It says, we cannot move one step away from your feet. So that is padamulas, that is the saranagati. That they are completely under the shelter of his feet. So how can they go out from that? And what can be done? You cannot function without devotional service. There is nothing else they can do but devotional service, because they identify with Krishna only. So now he says, Anyastu sviyam premanam sarasam dyotayantyo bhoschor chakravartina navayam anyartha agataha kintu tvaya choritam prati swam dhanam eva jigrikshava ityahu. So he says that this sloka is spoken by a gopi who is expressing her love in a very lovely manner. Not like Prakhara, earlier one, but in a very, what you call, congenial, joking, jesting manner, in a rasika manner. So he says, "O you, the king of thieves, Chora Chakravarti." He says, don't mistake us that we have come here to be with you and to be friendly with you. Or he says, don't be so proud about yourself. Because Krishna was saying, go back, this is night, what you're doing here, this, that. He says, don't have all these high-flying ideas about yourself. thinking that you played flute and we came because we love you. He says nothing like that. He says you are just a thief and you have stolen our wealth. We have only come to recollect that. And then we'll go. Because what is the greatest wealth? Is your heart. If you are a billionaire or trillionaire or whatever, if somebody steals your heart, then your trillion, billion also go with that. It's not that you are going to say, well, my heart is with you, but my money I don't give you. And these days people do that. They get married, they make arrangement beforehand that you will have no share in my property if we separate. Rich people do that. So that means this is not a heart-to-heart relationship. If you are already writing your own legal document, what will happen if you separate? Then where is the heart? And it is good to do that, because if their heart is not there, better have this arrangement beforehand. Otherwise later on you have to repent. And I have to do that. Who was that guy? He has to give some, 40 billion or something. Some rich person whose wife got divorced. It was last year in America. Right.
Bill Gates.
Who was that?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
No, it was not Bill Gates. It was somebody else. Somebody else also.
Jeff Bezos.
Yes, that Jeff Bezos or who, I don't know. I don't know who is he, but his wife got a very big chunk of money.
He owns Amazon. He owns Amazon. Or
Yeah.
He started Amazon with his wife.
Right. So she got, 40 billion or something.
Now I know where money goes.
So don't be amazed. Even the Amazon guy was amazed. He has to give the amazing amount of money. So therefore he says that our wealth is our chitta, and this is what you have stolen. So we are poor now, we want our money back. So this says that Chauritam prati swam dhanam eva jigrikshava ityaho chittam bhavata aparitam. He says, Krishna asks, what is that I have stolen? You people are always calling me thief. He says, of course you are trained from your childhood. And you are stealing butter, now you are stealing hearts. So he says that you have stolen our heart, chittam. And nacha tatra anya choraseva tav kopi adhika prayatno abhut. And like other thieves, you did not have to do much effort for stealing it. Because to steal, you have to make a big effort. You have to plan, find a proper opportunity, then proper time, and then do that. So, I told that story in Lithuania. These neighbors came to one house and they took away from the backyard this grill, what they call it, grill?
Grill.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then after 2 days they came to return it from the front gate. And they said, oh, I'm sorry, we were in need and we took your grill, here it is. And since we did not take your permission, we return it, and here are the tickets for the movie on the weekend as a gift. So they gave them a movie ticket on the weekend, and these neighbors said, no, it's all right, it was lying there anyway, you used it, no problem. And they got the movie ticket. So on the weekend they went to the movie, and this guy came with a big truck and he emptied the whole house happily and took away. And the neighbors were seeing, and they thought that these people are moving, because these days neighbors don't talk with each other. So the guy came and he They loaded everything from the house and left. They were saying, oh, this is so great, we got the ticket to movie. After that they come home, just 4 hours there. So he says that you don't have to do much effort to steal. Kopi adhika prayatno bhut, therefore this is sukhena, that easily. How is that? Venu randhra futkar matrene evatyartha. He says all you did is just played on flute. What is the big effort in that? You're standing here on the bank of Yamuna, nice full moon night, and playing on flute. So earlier, remember, we read that they said that you sent this thief and he stole, and then we are coming running behind him. Remember? That's what we read earlier. So it's on the same line. Nacha tacchitta dhanam asmakam alpataram ityahu. And don't think that this chitta is some small amount of money. This is very precious. So not think, because he may say, anyway, if I stole, why you have to come here at night? Stay there. You can search for it tomorrow. I take trouble at night. So he says, no, this is not some small amount of wealth. Yachittam griheshu sarveshu eva nisheshena vishati. He says it is the chitta which, because of which yan nirvishati uta griheshu. So which enters into all the house. Means if you own something, then your chitta is into that, right? If you own a mobike, then your chitta is into the mobike, right? Yes? If somebody takes your mobike, you'll be running behind that. So he says that our chitta is in our house, and now you have taken the chitta, means you have stolen everything. Because that is the master of the house. Whatever you own according to your identity, which is your heart, your mind. So if your thing is stolen, then everything goes with it. It moves along with it. It's not that they are separate things. So atastad apharene tvaya asmakam sarvani eva grihani luntitani iti dhvanita. So therefore they are saying that by stealing our heart, you have robbed all our houses, everything. Like this guy who came with a big truck and took away everything. So like that you have taken everything. There is nothing remaining there. You have lost everything. And now you are standing here and smiling and saying, go back. So vastuto grihesu asmakam chitta bhavat tani jvalantu samriddhyantu va kim asmakam tairiti anudhvanitam. So the implied sense is this is a dhvani. Dhvani is another word for vyanjana. So the vyanjana is that our houses, they may burn, they may collapse, they may prosper. What is our relationship with it if our heart is not there? Because anything has value as long as you have attachment to it, as long as you have some relationship of possessiveness with it, then it is valuable to you. If you give up that, then it is worthless. You have a house, you own it, then you sell it. Once it is sold, if it is put on fire, do you care? But if it was on fire one day before, you will be crying. So this is what they mean. So this is what they said, that santyajya sarva vishyanto padamulam. They said that we have given up all Vishaya. So the implied meaning is that they do not have any attachment to anything. So this is the meaning of Uttama Bhakti. It does not mean that you physically give up things. Physically it is not possible to give up everything. You have to live somewhere, you have to eat, you need basic facility, and if you want to do service, you need so many things. So the problem is not in sense objects, but in the attachment to those objects. That is the problematic thing. There are people who do not own much, but whatever they own, they are very much attached to it. So you may think, well, this person doesn't have many things, so he is very renounced. It is not true. People can take sannyas and then they can be attached to even just few clothes or even the place where they live, whatever. So the problem is with the attachment and not with the objects. So this is what is being shown here, that their attachment is 100% to Krishna. That is the meaning, that Krishna has stolen their heart. So this is being demonstrated, that what is the heart of a Uttama Bhakta. Yes, they are the topmost. What does it mean, Gopi Bhav? What it actually signifies. This is what it signifies. That they have absolutely no attachment independent of Krishna. Just like they do not even have their identity independently. So there is zero prathak bhav or bhinna bhav. There is complete oneness of heart. So otherwise they will all go back to their family, their house, everything, and function there. But they have been brought here to demonstrate what it really means. Otherwise people will think, why these gopis are so great? Why are they being praised? And we may also praise them because everybody is praising. But we have to actually understand, why are they being praised? What is the basic character of a gopi? So this is the reason that even Lakshmi Devi cannot enter in this, because she does not give up that attachment to being Lakshmi. So therefore he says that atastadaphareణ त्वया अस्माकं सर्वाणि एव गृहाणि लुण्ठितानि इति ध्वनितं वस्तुतो गृहेषु अस्माकं चित्ताभावात् तानि ज्वलन्तु समृद्ध्यन्तु वा किम अस्माकं तैर्. What is that we have to do with this house, family, this, that? Nothing. So the value is only as long as they are related to Krishna or they are useful in Krishna's service, then it is valuable. Otherwise it has no value. It may be very important for me, but if it cannot be used in service of Krishna, then it does not have any value. And if it is important for me, then also I give it value because I serve Krishna, not independently. So this is the key point to be understood. Atishayoktya griheshu श्रोत्रादि इंद्रियेषु तत् साफल्यार्थम यत् निर्विशति यद् विना सर्वेन्द्रियाणि विफलीभवन्ति इति भावः. Then it takes one more meaning. So he says that grihesu yannirvishati karavapi. So grihesu yannirvishati karavapi. So he says that griheshu here is the griheshu for the chitta. And what is the house of chitta? He says they are the senses. Because mind functions with our senses. All the senses, they are linked with the mind. So It is mind which goes, when you see, mind goes with the sense of seeing. When you hear, mind goes to the sense of hearing. When you taste, it goes to the sense of taste, and so on. So these are the houses in which he roams around, the mind. So he says that if you have taken away, then what is the value of this? Means the senses cannot function without mind. They don't have ability to function without mind. And if mind is not there, then what is the point of going to this? These are useless. So therefore he says, Yadvina sarvendriyani api vifali bhavanti iti. So without chitta, all the senses are futile. They cannot function. Ataschitta apaharadeva sarvendriyani api tvaya apritani tiyaho. So therefore they say that by stealing our heart, it is that you have also stolen our senses. And for that reason, now how can our hands work? Because hands are also part of the senses, working senses. Karavapi yo griha krityesu nirvishata. Uta iti. So uta, he says, added the other senses, that's what it signifies. Netre shrotre api ye etani sarvani apritani tirtha. So you have stolen everything. You have stolen our hands, legs, eyes, ears, everything. So for us now, it is not possible to function. So now Krishna says that, well, I accept that I am a thief and I have stolen. I am a gentleman thief. So I will return it to you after a few days. Now you go. So he says, Nanu bho adya tavad gacchata swaha parasva va vivichya vaschittam dasyami. So he's saying that, yeah, now you do one thing, that now you please go back, and tomorrow or day after tomorrow I will think and I will return.
Give back.
Yeah, I will give back your hearts. So please go. So then the gopis say, Padau padam na chalta sta upadamulat. So they are saying that Padau asmakam padam ekam api na chalta yadvina. So he says, how can we walk without mind? You will meet an accident. If you walk on the road and your mind is elsewhere, you can fall, you can hit somebody, right? If you do not have presence of mind while driving, you will meet an accident, right? That's why drunken driving is not allowed. Because when you're drunk, your mind is not in your control. So he says it's just like walking when you're drunk. It's worse than that. So he says we cannot go. So atas chittam dehi tateva yama iti bhava. Therefore give our heart to us, then we will go. So therefore they are saying that return us and I will come. Otherwise, vraja matho karvama kim vayama katham. First of all, they are asking, how do we go? We cannot walk without, and if somehow we walk, then what will we do there? Because our chitta is here. Without chitta you cannot, without mind you cannot function. So we are not going. They are determined not to go. And this is what Krishna wanted to hear. That's, he was going to hear their talk. So So this is the end. Any question on this? Yes.
In this sentence about atishayukti, there is this phrase tat-tat safalyartam. What does the tat-tat refer there to?
Senses.
Uh-huh.
But all the senses.
So then that's implying that in general, the mind is involved in them in order to make them functional in a conventional sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Means Shrotriyandreshu tattat safalyartham yad nirvashati yad vina sarvendriyani. Means for making each senses fruitful to perform its function, you need the mind. And if that is not there, yat nirvashati means it enters in that. Means when mind is there with a particular sense, then it functions properly. Malati?
The Guru, the representative of Krishna, and we practice our relationship with Krishna through the Guru. And we have always been trained that Vani is more important and higher than Vatu. Now,
So what does it mean? What does it mean?
Yeah, well, how I always understood it, that is that we should not try to just be close to the Guru and always be with the Guru. We should not always hanker for the physical association of the Guru, but just follow his instructions.
Yeah.
So here...
So that does not mean that it is more important, because Vani is also coming from the Vapu.
Yes.
I mean, if he is giving instruction, then you follow it. It's not that now you are separating the speech from the body, as if they are antagonistic to each other.
Right.
That same person, that Vani also belongs to the Vapu,
Yes.
or it's coming from somewhere else.
I think the reason why this was always stressed is that it's not possible for everybody to do physical service or to be with the Guru.
No, that is okay, but to say this is more important, that is less important. Means if Guru needs physical help, you will say, no, I won't do it, because you told me to go and distribute books or whatever. But the Guru is sick. So he says, well, Vapu is not important. One is more important, so I don't take care. Will you do that? Because to see what's importance of one over other, you have to contrast. So Guru is sick, or he is hungry and he wants food, and you have some other duty to perform which is also given by him. So now you say, well, you told me to do this, why shall I give you food? Because your words are more important than your physical body. So let you die. I will continue to follow your speech. Body dies. And that's what it means. If you say this is more important.
Yeah. Good. So now, in regard to Krishna, here the gopis stress their desire to be with Krishna physically, not move away from his feet. So as sadhakas, should this also be our mood, that we try for, of course I understand that we shouldn't imitate the gopis, but should it be important for us to be close to Krishna, or?
You see, the closeness is in the heart, you have to understand. You have to understand the meaning behind it. Don't go to the gross thing that you have to be with him. They will also go back to their houses. This is what I am trying to stress. Their heart is one with Krishna's heart. So whatever he wants, they will do it. Now Krishna wanted them to be there. So that there, when he will ask them to go, they will go. Okay? Okay, Sandeep.
Pranam Bhagavati Maharaj. So I just wanted to understand just one thing that like normally any book we read,
Any?
if
Book.
any book we read
Hmm.
or whatever books I've read from my childhood. So is there a particular difference between Natya Shastra, like the way Shastra are written and this thing? Because normally any book, it builds up to a climax and then it just like it closes at the climax. But here we find that, of course, it built up to Bhagavatam is to show prema, so it contrasted various devotees from chapter Canto 1 to Canto 9, and then Canto 10 Śrīmad-Bhāgavata, and but this gopis is the ultimate prema, but it comes in between, then Mathura-līlā, then Dwarka-līlā, then 11th canto, 12th canto. So any particular style is there of the Natya Shastra that climax is just in between?
So can you give some anti-climax example? I mean, an example opposite to this? Because you said you have read many books. Can you give me one example?
No, normally all books or whatever.
No, don't say normally. Give me one example. I want to understand because I don't think it is what you think.
So any dramas like
Yeah.
Like Munshi Premchand stories.
Yeah.
Say.
Yeah.
So whatever he wants to state, the climax will come in the end. Like if he wants to portray some friendship between two people, so the height of friendship will come at the end.
And in between, what is he doing?
Beg your pardon?
What is he doing in between?
In between, he will just build up the story to that point.
Hmm.
Or supposing some relationship is there, some love affair is there, so it will show a lot of obstacles in between, in the beginning. So in the end, it will show that, okay, all obstacles were overcome by the lovers, and then they lived in their
Happy ending.
Happy ever after.
Yeah.
So happy ending is not necessarily the climax. The climax is also the struggle. That's where you learn.
So even Shakespeare, like whatever plays is written, it normally, even if whatever he wants to show, it will come at the end.
Okay, so try to understand one thing, that first of all, this is not a play, because you are only giving example of the plays or stories. It is not just one story or anything like that. I mean, if you want to see the story, then story climax is Parikshit is hearing this. And climax is that he dies at the end and he goes. That is the climax. If you want to take the climax like that, he will be bitten by Takshaka and he reaches Vaikuntha, so that's the climax. If that's what you want to see as the climax. Because you are comparing it with some kind of story, so that's the story. Right from the beginning it starts, he goes, he is the one who is listening, and then he goes to Vaikuntha. He says, Siddho asmi anugrihito asmi. In the end he says, I am perfected, I am blessed. That's it. So that is the climax. According to Munshi Premchand's story style.
So it is not like the depiction of devotion or.
That's exactly what I am saying, that try to understand what is being described here is so many things which are, but this is the thing which is main thing, which is being depicted here. This is the education. And the same education flows throughout this. Because other places also it is this we have to contrast and see where does this person lie now. How much is he close to this definition of bhakti. By contrast, this only thing, this is the thing which is being shown.
So another one more doubt I had, if I can ask about that. So this, like this 29th chapter when it begins, at that time, it becomes Bhagwan Api, Tarakri Bhagwan Api, means Krishna desired after seeing the full moon, so he laid on his flute in the forest. And all the gopis came. Okay. So before that, they were there, but then they came, then there is some conversation. And after the Ras dance, he tells them to go back to their homes.
Yes.
And what we heard from you earlier also, like you said that it is basically the attachment and the bhav, and so like that would be the best scenario in brother, like he is in his home and how can we accommodate everyone in his home, like what are the normal life goes on. But if we contrast this with a sadhaka in a spiritual life, so if we are following, so whatever is the desire of Krishna, so that we have to confirm with the Gurudev, because that kind of a confusion can remain, should I leave everything and come to Vrindavan, or should I stay at home or develop my bhava, or so how is this to be?
So don't try to make distinction between Krishna and Guru. If you make that distinction, then confusion will come. Krishna's desire is this, Guru's desire is this, then I have this. Guru's desire is Krishna's desire, Krishna's desire is Guru's desire.
Guru Devatatma.
That's what we said, Guru Devatatma. Guru is the Devata, Guru is the Atma. Acharya Mam Vijaniyat. Krishna says, no, that I am the Acharya. So this is the tough part. This is the Madhurya-līlā. Because Guru is a human being. Madhurya-līlā means Nar-līlā. It's difficult. Okay?
Right, thank you.
Madhura.
Pranam Swamiji, at the beginning of the class, you were talking about the relationship between identity and supposes you refer to ahankara and chitta, and how chitta conditions the identity. Could you please elaborate more about that?
I did not say that chitta conditions identity. I never said that. I don't know from where you got that.
Well, then this is the way I understood.
Okay, then drop it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Raghava.
So this thing that Mataji Malati said before, the Vani Vasu thing, so it's the same, or is it one depends on the other? You cannot separate them, or what it is? No one is more important than the other, actually. Or what is the Siddhanta regarding that? I'm confused with this thing.
So you are a musician. So you play music, right?
Yes.
So now think music is your Vani. So now which one is more important?
The person.
Right?
Not the structure, the person.
Because the music comes from the person. If the person is not there, from where the music will come?
Oh, okay, thank you.
But they are also non-different because it's not independent.
They are non-different.
Yeah, because it's non-different in the sense that music cannot happen without the body.
Yes.
Mohini.
Pranam Babaji. I understood that gopis don't have an independent identity, and Lakshmi still has the identity of Lakshmi. Can you please elaborate on also other Prithivasis, the parents of Krishna? Do they have an independent identity, or Balaram, or Sakhas?
So do you know what it means, independent identity?
that they have a abhiman. I understand it that Lakshmi has the abhiman.
You answer my question. You answer my question.
If I understand what is independent identity,
Don't say if I understand. I'm asking you what is independent identity because you're asking question. That means you know what it is. So tell me what it is.
independent identity, that is the Advaya Gyan Paratattva verse, that something exists independent of Krishna.
Do you know what identity means?
Reality, that there is another reality than Krishna.
Do you know the meaning of the word identity?
It's the sense of being someone.
So why are you saying all other things? Advagyan, this, that. I'm asking simple thing. What is identity?
Okay, the sense of being someone.
What is your identity?
My identity is that person which I am right now.
So what is it?
Well, that word and my karma and what is all limiting me and this and that.
So that means you don't know the meaning of the word identity.
Also, yeah, that understanding that I am a part of Krishna, I am a soul which is a part of God or Krishna.
So is this how you function in your life?
No, basically not. Not yet.
So that's not what you think is your identity. I'm asking what is your identity?
Well, my identity.
If you meet somebody on the street and somebody asks you, who are you? What will you tell them? I am soul, I am part of Krishna, I am Advagyan. Reality is something. Will you talk like that? Or you will say, I am Mohini, I am so and so, I live there.
I will say I'm Mohini and I'm this and that.
So that's what your identity is. Why is so
Yes.
difficult?
No.
Then why are you going in circles? That is called Mohini, means you bewilder others. Isn't it? What is the meaning of the word Mohini?
It's to bewilder.
So you are bewildering me now, right?
I don't know, but actually.
That's what you are trying. I'm asking a very simple question. You are asking me and I'm asking you back because I don't want to spoon feed you all the time. I've said it many times. I want you, and you means all my students, to learn how to think. Not that I go on, you ask question and I give answer like you press a button. Start thinking yourself. So you are not even clear what you are asking. Because you are using the word identity and you don't know what it means. Right?
Okay.
Or actually you know, because when I ask if you meet somebody on the street and he asks you, who are you? Then you will say, oh, I'm so and so, I'm this. So that's your identity, because that's how you function in your society. If you have to go to some office, government office, something, your passport, your whatever, that's you say, this is my identity card.
Okay.
Right? So now what's your question?
Then my question is like, what does it mean that the gopis don't have a separate identity?
I did not say separate identity, I said independent.
Independent identity. And when Lakshmi has an independent identity, do the Brijvasis like Mother Yashoda, the Gopas, do they have an independent identity?
So now you think about it yourself. You know what it means identity and you know what it means independent identity. So think it over yourself. so that you will learn how to think. Otherwise, you will be in moha all the time, true to your name. So, from Mohini, you should become Amohini. Otherwise, how long will you remain in this moha? You should cut the knots of this confusion and become clear in your thinking. So think now yourself, and tomorrow you tell what you thought. Good? You like that or no?
I will try to.
No, that's good. Try. We have to try. Okay, anyone else? Stop then.